All right, we got 1 hour left of the show, and then we'll head into pregame for the Creighton Blue Jays taking on the Louisville Cardinals in Lexington, Kentucky. We have a good hour ahead of you, so we'll start with just first off. I got a little big board to re-show the
Shout
people.
out Matt's
we got
big board.
some emails to read, some tweets to read. Then we'll have Stephen M. Sipple at 9:15. And if you thought you can make money with me at the beginning of the hour, you will make money with Brian Edwards at the end of the hour, because Brian Edwards is one of the top guys this year, our Vegas insider when it comes to gambling on college basketball. Look, I have his board. Mm-hmm. Brian has set me his board. I'm testing right now, Jimmy. It's a damn good board. We'll first go to the Equitable Bank inbox.
Well done.
Equitable
it's harder
Bank.
Than you think to say.
They take banking personally. Joey writes into the Equitable Bank inbox. He goes, I would not be surprised if I looked up and Omaha was still in the game in the second half against St. John's. Crazy, but everything Matt said is my thought as well. Look, St. John's is one of those teams, man, where it's like, first off, it's Rick Pitino. Take him to strip clubs and casinos, all right? This guy is
Maybe he
legit.
should go to the Crown.
I mean,
that makes too much sense when you put it that way.
He is the guy. He is one of the greatest coaches, not only just in college basketball, but just basketball in general. And however you feel about him and the things that he's done in the off the court or whatever, he is a dude. And man, I think if I'm Omaha and I'm the Mavericks, it's awesome that I got a guy like Chris Crutchfield, who's done an incredible job for the Mavs this year, that he gets to have the experience and his staff gets to have the experience of
and he
going
gets his
up
guys
against
to believe.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you something right now. When we talk about this Omaha team, they're not in Providence for two and a barbecue. All right, that's not how this team is built. That's not the attitude of this roster. The attitude of this roster the entire year has been, hey, we're the best. We don't care that this is a South Dakota, North Dakota, South Dakota State, North Dakota State Summit League. We do not give a damn that we know that there are people at the top of this conference that don't want us to win. We are who we are. We don't give a damn that we were picked eighth, to finish eighth in the conference this year. We don't give a damn that our best player, Frankie Fiddler, is now playing for the Michigan State Spartans. We do not give a damn. We are who we are. And man, they started off the season rough, 4-9, but Coach Chris Crutchfield knew he had a good team. He knew they could believe in themselves. They absolutely did that, especially after the Cal Polytech game. And there's I don't know if I could find you a team in the country that really matches up well other than the one seeds than St. John's. Like there's no team that is outside of their seed line where you're like, man, maybe Texas Tech. But other than that, it's hard to match up well against a team that is that big, that is that long, that is that athletic, and that well coached.
You know how I see it, Matt? Okay, so we were talking about this off air the other day. 20 years ago, damn, I can't believe it's been 20 years. I was at the then Ford Center in Oklahoma City the night Kansas lost to Bucknell, student media.
Oh.
And after the game, listening to the Bucknell coach, he said something that has always stuck with me when it comes to upsets. And I know it sounds obvious, but I always think of this. He told his team, we are going to play this game in 4-minute segments to each media timeout.
Yeah.
Just 4-minute segments. Just outplay them, run your stuff, play good basketball. And then when you get to the last 4-minute segment, it's balls out, because at that point, it does not matter what their jersey says. No. It does not matter what your jersey says. It is a basketball game. It is a battle of wills, and you have to impose your will on the other team. And if Omaha can get it to that last 4 minutes, yes, there's going to be a bunch of St. John's fans there, but I guarantee you, everybody else in that building is going to adopt the Mavericks.
Damn right.
And if they knock out St. John's, win the game, they're going to probably adopt them even more on Saturday there, because this is how it works. So once you get to that point and you're the underdog, you have this adrenaline that you can't explain, because at that point, you are a one seed in your mind. You're like, hell, let's match toe-to-toe with them. We are in the Big East.
Absolutely. Well, another thing is, too, how do you win these games, Jimmy? The other team beats themselves.
Yep. Don't turn the ball over. Make your free throws for the love of God, because if you miss them, you're losing.
So here's the thing.
Regardless of who you are.
St. John's doesn't make their free throws.
Oh.
And St. John's doesn't hit their three-point shots.
And when it starts to get tight down the stretch.
There you go. And what happens when...
This is what Memphis did in 2008 in the championship game.
Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. You play mini games.
You feel that weight.
Play mini games.
You've been waiting all day.
We're gonna beat them in this 4. We're gonna beat them in the next 4. And then at the same time, too, man, this St. John's team, they don't make their threes They don't make their free throws. They've been doing things that can self-destruct at times. And you know what? What Omaha has? You know what when you're on that upset, when the other team is self-imploding and not doing the things that they need to do, what do you need? You need a little bit of magic.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think Tony Osborne
you hit a shot
has a little bit of magic? You don't think Lance Waddles? We saw him do it at North Dakota State at the beginning of the year, which kind of sparked the Summit League run. You don't think Lance Waddles has a little bit of magic in him? You don't think that J.J. White's got a little bit of magic in him? You don't think that Markel Sutton, who's a Summit League Player of the Year, who's going to be playing at a Power 5 conference next year, who's going to make a lot of damn money because he's that
deservedly
damn good?
So. What if he's showing off
he's
tonight?
Got a little magic? Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, man. Like, I'm not putting my hammer down and saying Omaha's going to do it and whatever, because it's so damn tough.
No, we're just saying these are recipes that if it happens.
They got a little chutzpah. They got a little attitude.
And that's it.
They got confidence. I was at that selection show game, and they were sitting there, and every time they weren't selected to be the 15th seed to play the next 2 seed, they would say, oh, that 2 seed got lucky. Oh, damn, I wanted to play that.
They really believe it.
They're not there to have fun. They're not there and soaking up, oh, my God, this is great. This is incredible. No. They're there to stay. And this is the attitude.
Yeah, they plan on coming back Sunday.
Yes, they do. This is the attitude
this pack for San Francisco
has had the entire season. And like what you said, what'd you say? That happens in close games with 2 seeds when things get tight.
I've seen it so many times in person. We've seen it on TV where that fear starts to get. I mean, you go back, watch any 15-2, and hey, shout out to Steve Murfield here, because I always think of him this time of the year when he was coaching Hampton. And in 2001, I got home. I was in high school. I got home to watch the end of that game out in Boise. And Iowa State, they had some dudes that year. Jamal Tinsley, Marcus Pfizer. That was a great damn team that was in the Elite Eight the year before. Many people had them winning it all in 2001, or at least getting to the Final Four and matching up against Duke and Shane Battier. And then they're playing a 15 on an late afternoon in Boise, and it gets close. Now you start second guessing.
Yeah.
Are
we really that good?
I don't know if I want this shot. I'll pass it. Oh, and then what do you miss? That rim seems to get so small. Yet for them, everything falls because everyone's gotten into the game. Like the kid 20 years ago from Vermont who hits the shot from the parking lot to put Syracuse away. Yeah. Or we talked about him yesterday. Jacob's BFF, Ali Farouk-Manesh, hitting those 2 shots against Kansas.
Yes.
That's what happens in the upset. And everybody's behind you.
It's one of those things where the longer the game goes, the more that you are Matt Damon at the Rounders table.
We're playing with house money, boys.
The more that if you got a little alligator blood, when you play these top seeds, you have a chance. And Omaha, that was one thing. And this reminds me back, and I know the joke is that it always goes back to Northwestern basketball, right? Northwestern.
Sorry, go Cats.
It was last year. They played UConn in the second round, okay? And UConn ended up killing them. But I said, hey, look, if we got a shot at winning this, it's going to be UConn is going to come out and they don't have it. Okay, they
just don't hit shots. The legs feel heavy. Shots.
Yeah, they just don't have it. And the first 4 minutes of the game, you're like, never mind, UConn's got it.
All right, let Dan Hurley.
I don't think St. John's is that team. I don't think I just don't.
We just said they don't hit shots very well.
They're just not one of those teams now.
And you're waiting all day to play.
This St. John's team, which is why they're so damn good, it's like they're a closer at the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
When you get to the last 10 minutes of the game, they are going to.
What do you say? What's the analogy you use? Turn the faucet off?
They turn the faucet.
And that's what happened against Creighton. It was like, whoa, what happened here? They were right there in good shape. And yeah.
Omaha's got something, man.
Hey, and if they do that, you shake their hand.
Zach writes into the Equitable Bank inbox.
Don't feel bad. This isn't a you thing.
Zach writes in, Texas fires coaches that make the NCAA tournament. Must be rough. Nebraska doesn't fire a coach for going Big Ten 37-82 and overall 80-108, while missing the NCAA tournament 5 of 6 seasons and finishing at the very bottom of the conference more often than not. That is why Nebraska basketball will always be where Nebraska basketball has always been.
Lincoln?
It's not. Nebraska. Lincoln. Yes.
Yeah.
It's.
No, I'm saying they'll be in Lincoln.
They'll be in Lincoln.
Yeah.
It's just.
Watching TV today.
It comes back to one of those points where it's the guy won the Big Ten Coach of the Year last year, and he has proven in his past to be a pretty, at times, pretty damn good coach. At the same time, I want to stop hearing, especially after what Pat Kelsey has done and Dusty May has done and all these other, for Mark Byington and Vanderbilt. I want to stop hearing the whole, can we get a better coach than Fred Hoiberg? Fred Hoiberg is a damn good coach, but there are other teams across the nation who Jimmy Palmer writes pretty damn good coach. Yeah, overall, like I still think how and when Iowa State, like, you know,
they were good.
And they made the tournament last year. I mean, and there are things that Fred Hoiberg has done. I think overall, Fred Hoiberg's a good coach. But when we get back to this discussion of can Nebraska basketball get anyone better, number one, it comes down to do they want to get anyone better?
That's the thing nobody ever asked.
Like, do they want to? Do they want to get someone better? Because if they want to commit to go and get someone better, you know, it's up to them. And number two is like you look at across the country, there are plenty of teams who have gotten first-year head coaches and they're in the tournament, then being able to turn things around. And we've proven this year that can happen. So it just, at the end of the day, it just comes back to how does the athletic department want to treat and how much respect do they want to give Nebraska basketball? And I think they want to give a decent amount of respect to Nebraska basketball. But we have to remember, Fred Hoiberg,
great fan support.
Fred Hoiberg last year was the Big Ten Coach of the Year. Fred Hoiberg last year,
people really do forget,
built a pretty damn good roster. Fred Hoiberg last year had a very special team and was able to build a ton of interest into Nebraska basketball. I understand all of the pushback on that. And you know what? I'm right here with you. And I've been the one.
You've been at the games.
I've been the one who's been saying the other points as well. The fact that the record isn't good enough and one NCAA tournament appearance in 6 seasons isn't good enough.
I have texts from you during games.
I know. So I'm on both sides of the fence here, guys. I think that you can play. There are arguments on both sides, which is why I think that Nebraska, has decided that they're going at this point that they're going to keep him, and that they're going to give him another year. And so it's just there are a couple bounces of the basketball and maybe a couple bad calls away from making the tournament. It's just such a weird and polarizing season. But just in general, like the one argument I won't take is they can't hire a better coach than Fred Hoiberg. That's the absolute number one argument I won't stand for, because you look across the country, there have been other teams who've been able to hire coaches and find success right away. So it can be done. Okay. So always want to throw that out there. That's always where I want to be in terms of that sentiment. John writes in, I won't watch a single game of the NCAA tournament, and you think I will watch Nebraska play in the Crown? You are nuts. I can't stand basketball. This is the worst week of the year. John, you're in the minority, bud. You're in the minority. And we'll finally go to our final email. Joey goes, okay, I understand we all are upset about how Nebraska finished, but I'm over it. Nebraska fans, stop kicking yourself in the nuts and pay attention to Omaha and Creighton. It seems like we like to suffer. Again, it sucks, but time to focus elsewhere. I think that's
tremendous flexibility if you can kick yourself in the nuts.
I think Omaha definitely has earned the right for people to pay attention to them. And it's funny enough, Joey writes in about talking to people or people stop being upset about Nebraska basketball. Funny enough, we're going to bring in a guest that I know for a fact is still upset about Nebraska basketball, and that's Stephen M. Sipple. The best damn interview in the state and the best damn interview of the week. Don't go anywhere.